this leads me to my next question because, traditionally in international relations, whenever a very complicated civil war like that happens, it's also basically a huge opportunity for outside forces to intervene. And so, on the one hand, Myanmar has been put on pause in ASEAN, right? Its seat is empty at the moment. The Organization of Southeast Asian is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations is not. I mean, they don't recognize the military junta, so Myanmar is not represented, and they try to put pressure on them. At the same time, they still try to have a diplomatic process with them, even inviting the junta to Indonesia in order to have some sort of talks, right? And from my friend in Chiang Mai, I know, and I haven't verified this, but he said that the U.S. consulate in Chiang Mai is humongous and is obviously also used in order to manage U.S. I mean, to have U.S. influence in Myanmar. And China is right there as well. Could you maybe lay out the different international actors and if who are they supporting? What's the U.S. doing in U.S. foreign policy in Myanmar and China policy in Myanmar? Do you know anything about that?
Uh, yes, this question is so interesting and fits with my academic interest. For the Chinese government, they want to command and control Myanmar because the Chinese investor have a lot of benefits in Myanmar. Let's take a look at Belt and Road Initiative. The framework, the logistical framework for Belt and Road Initiative partly touch the land of Myanmar. And it is very important for the Chinese government and business sector to keep the connection from Sino-Myanmar borderland to Mandalay and then to the Chinese deep sea port in Rakhine or Arakan state. So the main reason for China to maintain friendly relations with many stakeholders in Myanmar because they want to command and control the strategic shortcut in Myanmar in order to access to the Bay of Bengal and the Andaman Sea, which is the part of the Indian Ocean, by not traveling through the Strait of Malacca and by stimulating the economic condition in the hinterland, especially southwestern China. And nowadays, China can conduct the power projection to Myanmar peace process because ethnic armed organizations along Sino-Myanmar borderlands such as UWSA, TNLA, MNDAA, all of these more or less have some connection with China. And the Tatmadaw or Myanmar armed forces feel very concerned about the increasing Chinese sphere of influence in Chan State and in other parts of Myanmar. For American foreign policy, I think before political transition in Myanmar, especially under Thein Sein administration, the American foreign policy focused only on sanction. But but when Myanmar transit into a more democratizing process, the U.S. decided to engage more with the new regime in Myanmar. So the pattern of American foreign policy has been changed significantly. And another one is in order to counterbalance with the strong Chinese sphere of influence, the U.S. should take more action. But the U.S. is not acting alone because it has already proclaimed the Indo-Pacific outlook by incorporating Japan, Australia, and India into this kind of framework. So the U.S. is not acting alone, but it might invite India and Japan to cooperate with each other in order to develop peace and democratic institution in Myanmar post-coup politics and in order to counterweight with the Chinese sphere of influence.